Welcome to Westbridge Hills, episode 5 with me, MrSealyp. What better way to start a new episode than back at the store, spending more money that we can't really afford to spend, but we do need to spend it. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get a cultivator. I'm going to get one of the new cultivators, and at some point I am going to get the big bud. But, as far as cultivators go, I've got the cultivator already, which is great when I want to plough, and it will plough and cultivate all at the same time, which is wonderful. The Flexicore was the big one, 186,000 though, so I'm going to go with the Bednar. The Bednar Swifter SM18000. It's a bit more of a compact unit, not as it's long, but it's not as big. So I'm going to buy it. It's going to eat into our money quite a bit, but we do need something for cultivating and something on a slightly larger scale. So interesting. Let's put that at a funny angle, but never mind. Right. Now it says it needs 500 horsepower. In theory, this, the Terra variant, should be fine. The harvester is still going and we'll have a full grain tank, but I'm just thinking field 16 needs cultivating before I can reseed it, so we needed a new piece of equipment, and here it is. I did do a kind of quick look at these in my Big Bud DLC videos. I did one on cultivators, but I haven't actually used it really in game at all, so let's give it a go. Give it a bit of a whirl. What I will do is come across and do my headland like I normally do. Or I say normally do, that I have been doing. So, let's open this up. A little bit better. Okay, drop it down. Let's go across, shall we? So it should make slightly lighter work of the cultivating process than some of the smaller cultivators that are in game. And seeing as we're doing the American map, the whole point was big equipment, all the new stuff on the big bud, that kind of thing. And I will get to a point I can afford to get a big bud, hopefully. So, there we go, headland done. Let's lift that up. If I can get that going, I can get over to the field and sort out the harvester. Get this harvest finished. Right. Off we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. So with finally a full load, set the beacons on, we are heading to the freight yard. That's the best price at the moment for soybean. The Bednar has worked brilliantly on 16, even with the sort of slope coming up here. The Terra variant pulled it no problem at all. So that's now working over the far side of field 17. The harvester's finishing off this side, and the sprayer is doing the middle section, so there's a whole load going on field 17. Plus we've got field 10 needs to be harvested of its canola as well. So I'm going to go and sell this first. Like I say, our money is dropping rapidly, so more contracting will be needed. I have also bought a shelter, the small vehicle shelter. I say small vehicle shelter, but it's not a small one. 9,000 I think it is, the in-game one, for all the vehicles or the equipment down at the dairy farm, and we'll have a look at that in a bit, because I need to take the tractor down there and move some of the equipment, because the telehandler won't hook up to 2 of the trailers, so we'll go over there. But first things first, let's get this sold. It's not going to be a huge amount of money, but it is going to be money which we need. Some of the prices of the sunflower prices are not far off what the soybean prices are. This is quite steep, this one, as I recall. Yeah, the front lorry's lifting up there. Okie dokie. Right. Beacons off. And let's see what we get, shall we? Let's say 130,300 something, is that? 368 I think. Okay, that's okay. So we just need more fields, bigger fields. The bigger the harvest, the more the money. But 130,000 is not bad for one load. Money's back up again a little bit, so that kind of covers the cost of the Bednar. Definitely need to do more contracting. Oh dear. And we need some more cows. Some more cows? Some cows. Won't be too much longer, and the silage will be fermented. Let's get back over to field 17. So the focus of the harvest switches now to field 10. The last of the soybean came off of field 17. That's in the lorry, the truck, trailer, directly straight through there somewhere. That's going to go to whichever sell point's paying the most in a minute. But first of all, I'm going to get the canola, oilseed rape, whatever you want to call it. This harvested next. Yield seems to be okay on this one, and again we'll find a good sell point for that. I have purchased something else. The money's gone down a little bit. We will get to that in a moment. With what I just sold, the last bit of the soybean, I sold it at the freight yard as well. That harvest on 16 and 17 of soybean netted me about 150,000, just over 150,000, which is pretty good. I'll jump out of here while it finishes off. And yeah, okay, right. So the next purchase. Excuse me. I've bought the little Massey up here. So in an effort to keep all of my fertilising sort of states until I've got slurry or manure or anything like that, I've bought another mod. This is the Amazon. It was what it was now. It'll be on here. ZGB, there we go. Amazon ZGB 8200, and it is a fertiliser spreader, not sprayer, so it'd be solid fertiliser. I think this was on 15, or it came on to 15 at some point. I'm not sure it's going to hook up, is it? Oh, it does. High hook. That just looks ridiculous. Look at the size of that. I think it's a combination of the trailer is just huge and the Massey is tiny, and I'm hoping once this is full it will pull it. So I will put the beacons on because this is rather a big load for this. We'll go and fill it up. Now that 16 and 17 have both been, they were sprayed, they've now been cultivated, which means they can then have the next fertilising state done to them, which will give me 2. Then I can seed, and then once it goes into its first growth stage I can then weed. So I'm getting a kind of combination of everything really. So let's get through to the solid fertiliser. Open that up. This isn't going to be cheap to fill up either. But it fills up incredibly quickly. Blimey. That is pretty full. Let's close the lid. Now, 13,000, good God. Okay, well, as long as I can get my money back at the end of the day. I have to say, I was a little bit concerned that the little drop nose Massey wouldn't be able to pull this. And when I first drove up the hill, that little steep bit up there, it did struggle a bit. So I did a couple of headlands across sideways to avoid having to go up so far, but it seems to be doing a great job. It probably could do with a bigger tractor pulling it. But we are now in a different fertiliser state. So we've done spray, we're now doing solid fertiliser, and then when it goes through its first growth stage we will weed. So once this is done, and it's done in the other field as well, I will then get the seeding done. So we're going through the process, but just using slightly different equipment. Trundling down, I'll say trundling, 32-mile-an-hour trundling down to the dairy farm, and here's the new shelter just here. Put it to the side. I've seen the obvious place really, there's a big space here, so I've already put the telehandler and the feeder wagon in. and these two will go in as well out of the way, but I didn't have anything to actually move them, so it's not a huge amount of space here, but enough. For a small vehicle shelter, I say small vehicle shelter, let's have a quick look. It's in here. Yeah, small storage shelter. It's actually not a bad size. For 9,000, it's pretty good. Make sure I give myself enough room to actually get it in and out as well. And we'll get the water in as well. There we go. Safe and sound in their new home. Lovely. Brilliant. That's that done. So like I say, we're not far off ready actually. We are just waiting on the silage down here, and then we can get cracking with the cows. I'll get this back up to the main yard, and Helper D on the canola field has a full grain tank. So we'll get over there, get that emptied again, and carry on. Things are progressing very, very nicely. The cultivating is now being done on field 10. The fertiliser spreading has been done. So once the cultivating is done, the fertiliser spraying can be done. Harvesting needs to be put away, and I've got 41,201 litres of canola in the lorry. The canola prices, unfortunately, are falling. So what I am going to do is put this into storage. It seems pointless going selling it for a low price just for the sake of selling it. Don't get me wrong, 50,000 might come in quite handy, but I can get a better price for it at a different time. So this is going to be put away. Didn't have far to go either, which isn't too bad. So as it stands at the moment, looking at the top as it goes up, I have got 38,000 litres of wheat. That's from that field 19 when I did the straw bales, when I swapped over the map after the update. So that's in storage, and now the canola oilseed rape is going up. So I've got a couple of bits in storage, not huge amounts, but there is stuff in storage. Fertiliser spreader. Just realised I just left here. How very shoddy. Really, really impressed with this little Massey. He's done a brilliant job putting this. Like I say, I could probably do with one that's got a little bit more oomph to it, but It did the job. It may not look particularly realistic, and in real life you probably wouldn't use a tractor this size for doing this job. I realise that, but I have, and it worked. Right, let's disconnect that. Perfect. Then put this away for the time being. And park this up too. Now the cultivating's done on field 10, I can use the Hulmer for the seeding, so that can be getting done. Field 17 is seeded, so I'm heading up the hill to field 10, and in field 10 this time I'm going to put sunflowers. The price of sunflowers has been going up, so it kind of makes sense to put in something, one that I haven't done before, not on this field anyway, on this map anyway. Done OSR, done soybeans. Soybeans going to make the money. Well, they're all going to make money, but that makes the most. But the prices of sunflower have been quite high, so let's drop that down, turn it on, get headland in. For some reason, the cultivator didn't catch all of that. Not quite sure why. Okay. So once this is done, that's all 3 fields harvested and turned around. Once they do the first growth stage, it'll probably be weeding or fertiliser spraying or fertiliser spreading on each to give it the 3rd fertilising state. But so far so good. The Hulmer Terra variant Eco 600 Echo, I'm sure it's Eco, is blinding. Absolutely brilliant. So I had no problem with the cultivator, no problem with the seeder. The very big equipment, the 550 horsepower stuff and beyond, and the combinations you're going to need to have the big bud, I would say. I reckon you'll be fine with the quad track, you'll be fine with the Challenger, the big horsepower vehicles, anything over 550 to 600 horsepower. You're not going to have a problem with most of the big bud stuff, I don't think. So my crops are in the ground. I can't do much with them at the moment other than allow them to grow. Put away. So, a spot of contracting. Now, I've been showing you. There we go. I've been showing you on the stats page how many contracting jobs I've done, and I thought, you know what, for a change, it's been a couple of episodes, I'll actually put a bit of contracting in. Why not? We are down on field 8, I believe. We are on field 8. Over there, the building's over there, the warehouse, and the town is directly ahead of us, and the farm is just over the hill there. This is set for 80 something minutes, so this is going to be a long episode. I'm joking, it's not. I'm not going to record 80 minutes worth. But I know that was a ridiculous joke. But anyway, yeah, I thought I'd show a bit. And what I've been trying to do when I've been doing my contracting jobs is doing these big jobs. And that's why every now and again, last week especially, there was a day here and there I didn't record. One, because obviously there was the update, which had to do the changeover and get everything ready again. And a couple of days I was just trying to build the money up. So I was doing big contracts on big fields, just trying to get the money up. And it takes time, that's the thing. You know, 40 minutes here, 40 minutes there, you know, before you know it, you've been sitting down for 3-4 hours. And just putting out an episode of contracting, it's going to bore everyone rigid. So every now and again, I chuck one in, just to show what I'm up to. Things are progressing well. I'm just going to try something out. This was suggested to me. I was given some advice. I believe it was Frank Dad. Again, I'm getting so much advice from all over the place. When I do my turns at the end, I normally whip around like a maniac. So I've dropped the cruise control down to 15. It will plough at, or it will harvest at 6. But when I lift the header, it normally whizzes off. So by setting the cruise control a little bit lower, it's more controllable in the turn. And then drop the header back down, because normally I have the cruise control set on maximum, so as soon as I lift the header it goes whizzing round like a crazy thing, and it becomes quite uncontrollable. So the suggestion was knock the cruise control down, that way when you lift the header to turn, or once I lift the header, actually what I do is I stop the harvester, or stop the sort of threshing, rather than just lift the header, and that lifts the header automatically. I just find that easier to do. And that was far more controllable. I just knocked it down to 15, I think it is, rather than on 24 or whatever it's normally on 26. So thanks for the advice, it works brilliantly. I am nearly halfway across now, according to the green circle in the top corner. So yeah, not long. I'm hoping this is going to bring in about 50 grand, something like that. Fingers crossed. Yeah. 2 or 3 of these. Nice bit of money in the old skyrockets. Right. Onwards. Oh, I'm nearly there. The green circle is almost complete, and we are right over the far side of the field now. The turning thing is working perfectly mint. There was some comment left the other day about the headers, about transporting them. I think that's what it was referring to, from what I gathered from the conversation that then ensued, that I don't ever adjust them, actually. I know in real life they do, absolutely they do, depending on the thickness of whatever they're cutting, the height of it, depending on what kind of terrain you're cutting on and all that kind of stuff, uphill, downhill, etc, etc. I know that in game it doesn't make any difference if you do adjust them. It's not like it increases the yield or anything, but yeah, it's not something I do very often. And to be honest with you, they're probably above the crops on this one, so they probably could do with being adjusted. So yeah, I guess one of those things you could look at. 33, 43, 45, oh, not quite 50,000 then. 45,500. Not knocking it. That's good. Now what I am going to do now is save it. And obviously the next contract available should be slurry spreading. 23 minutes. It needs doing. I need the money. What are we in? Optum? Yep. I do like the Optum. I do like the fact with the Optum that if you go with the narrows on it, you get twin narrows. I think it looks brilliant. But then so does the Magnum. The Magnum does the twin narrows as well, which also looks fantastic. I don't know why more of the bigger ones haven't done that. So they do look amazing. Right, let's open this out without going off the field and getting told off. Not sure this is going to have the power. I'm sure the Optum goes up to about 313. Just thinking with the hills it might struggle a little bit on this one, but we'll see. Nice shot. Get on with it, as they say. So I'm just under halfway across the field, and time for a little chat, just a small one, just while I'm going along, about this map generally. I need to get back onto Drummard and do an episode on there, because I've been neglecting Drummard somewhat since this came out. But this map is all about big machinery, and it will be. I know I haven't got huge machinery at the moment. I am talking about getting big bud, and also the realism factor. I like to try and play it and enjoy it, and it kind of be realistic-ish. But I'm no farmer, and I know that half of what I do isn't realistic, like this. Turning on the move like that, you'd be wasting slurry on patches you've already done. If you did that with fertiliser, you'd get too much fertiliser in areas where you didn't need it. And no, I totally get that. I'm not claiming to be a realistic, gamer or anything like that. I like to try and try and make it more interesting, but there's no guarantee. So on this channel, big machinery, big stuff. I wanted to go to obviously big field, just an American map. And some of the mods out there are a bit zany, a bit weird. They're large, they might even be made up, but they're there, they're in the mod hub, and I think on this map there's going to be a few things I'm intending on using which are going to seem a little bit, I'm going to get comments, it's ridiculous, it's this, it's that. Again, I get it, I've had this conversation before, everyone's entitled to their opinion. So just be warned, there are going to be, a couple of changes, a couple of bits of machinery I have bought, a couple of things I've purchased already. I'm thinking of swapping out, which I might well do. I'm not going to do that till the next episode. The next episode, hopefully, providing the fermenting's done, is going to be all about them cows. So, going to get some cows bought, transported over, get some feed made, etc, etc. So next episode will be kind of cow-based. Between this episode and that episode, I'm going to get some more contracting done, because, let's face it, I need the money. I mean, looking at what I've got, I'm on nearly 450,000, I think I'm on. So I need the money. But for the equipment I want to get and things I need to do, I do. Cows aren't cheap. 10 cows, 50 grand. That's crazy money. So to get any kind of amount of cows worthwhile, it's going to cost a bit of money. So, just a kind of heads up, FYI kind of thing. Of what's in store. There will be big bud when I can afford it. I'm not doing the gold nuggets. I got moaned at for doing that because I moved over my stuff from the other map, and anyway, so I'm trying to make my money honestly by contracting and putting in the hours. See you at the end. Okay, so just what, 486,000, just shy. I'm going to stand in the shade of the tree. Actually, that was hot work. Yeah, not far off 500,000 at the moment. There is more contracting to be done on this field and others around the map. But that is the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've got a few bits done around the farm and a new shelter and the fields are all redone, reseeded and growing again, some crops sold, etc, etc. Like I say, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, I say feel free. Yeah, feel free, as long as it's appropriate. And if you want to share the video, please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do, thanks for watching.